Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, before we get started here, I want to congratulate the Bantam A Cougars on a state championship. Cougars bringing home another trophy to Aberdeen, and best of luck coming up to the girls varsity this next weekend and the boys JV on their state tournaments coming up. Well, an interesting weekend for the Wings over in Austin. Road wins, as you said on many occasions, not always the easiest, and they don't necessarily have to be pretty, but a 5-2 win on Friday after trailing 2-0 going into the third. A slow start, obviously, but an explosion there in the third, and really the start, it kind of started amping up midway through the second, really. What happened to kind of make that change? Did you guys make some adjustments or something in the locker room? What brought that on?
I think it was more of our leadership took over in the locker room, and we have a lot of leaders in that room, and they fully understand. You know, we gave up 2 fluke goals, like two fluke goals, and a lot of times when that happens, it deflates your bench, and it certainly didn't help us get our feet underneath us in game one. But you know, as we got halfway through the second period, you can see the legs starting to come back, and got a power play that kind of got us going and added some energy to our bench, and you know, then in the third period, obviously our team showed up, and you know, sometimes it's just a matter of time with our guys, but you know, normally we don't give those type of goals up, and if anything, it's a 0-0 hockey game going into the third period with a chance to win the game. So, yeah. But I think that game allowed us to grow as a team. You know, we figured out that no matter where we are in a hockey game, we have an opportunity to win it. For sure. And I think we grow a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I mentioned to you in the pregame on Saturday that it seemed to me, especially with a minute and a half roughly left of the second, guys just camped out in their zone and just continued putting shots on, and at a lot of pressure being put on, and you know, they kind of looked tired, you know, in the third, and of course they played on Wednesday. And I mentioned it to you in the pregame about conditioning and about you know, the when you guys are playing fast, it can tire teams out. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, we talk about it all the time. You make them chase you, and instead of chasing the game, and I think that tires a lot of opponents out. And you know, I don't know where they're at conditioning wise. I mean, that's their thing. But you know, when you're demanding on the puck and you're forcing them to play in their defensive zone, and obviously having to kill penalties, I think that all accumulates and it makes a team tired. And you know, we talk all the time about our team just kind of grinding teams down and being able to finish them out in the third period. So we knew they were tired. We could see it. Our guys could see it, and they took advantage of it.
All right, moving on to Saturday, a 5-4 win after being up 5-1, and a goal 35 seconds into that game. And you talk about, you know, quick starts. I'd say that's the very definition of one. But they clawed and scratched their way back, and they had a really strong third period on Saturday night. What was your takeaway from that night?
Well, from the first goal we scored, we had enough to win the game. So, I mean, no matter what they did as far as clawing back, I mean, we won the hockey game. So none of that stuff in between really matters. You know, it's a new week. We got to move on and focus against them, and obviously not allow that to happen again. But, you know, there's some pucks that had some eyes for sure, you know, that found the back of the net. But, you know, they're a team that doesn't quit. If you look at a lot of their games, their third period is their best period. Yeah. They seem to come back on teams and make games close. So they did that against us. And it's not like we were playing bad hockey by any means. You know, we didn't, I don't think we let off the gas. It's just that they threw a couple pucks at the net that found its way in the back of the net. But again, you know, we find a way to take the 2 points. You know, you don't get any points for getting a 4 when the other team has 5.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And, you know, again, like you said, they often have a strong third period. That's why, you know, on Friday night it was kind of a flip-flop. You know, we talk about a lot of times, and I've talked about it with the players too, that there is definitely a target on the back of the Aberdeen Wings with the most points in the league, best record in the league. You know, guys are going to, we talk about how they're going to throw their best game at you. But I got to thinking a little bit about maybe a different kind of target that could be on the Wings' back in some cases. And we talk about discipline and different things like that over the course of the week. But it seems like some of these teams are starting to play the Wings with a little more aggression and a little more anger rather than, you know, just effort. Did you guys feel like that at all, or see that at all? A lot of the after the whistle stuff.
I'll ask you, is it working?
It's certainly not working, but
okay. So I think any fan or any staff member could see what's going on here as of late, and teams are trying to draw a line in the sand, and I think it's motivating our guys. It's if you sit on the bench and you hear some of the things these teams are saying to us and challenging the bench and everything else, it's certainly not backing us off by any means.
Right.
So back to the drawing board. Hockey's a game that you have to develop players, and if they're going to move up and go on to college and play pro hockey, you need to develop them. And I'm not sure it takes a lot of creativity to be sending guys to the bench and to send the guys after different guys to jump them. So, I would just say, you know what, go back to the drawing board, let's play hockey, and let's see who's on top at the end.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, nobody's backing away from anybody, that's for sure. A power play explosion. 2 of 3 on Friday, 3 of 6 on Saturday. Really strong weekend for the specialty teams, especially on the power play side of things. Is there something you can attribute that to, or was just things working well?
No, I think Coach Hill does a great job with that power play, and I will say that the addition of Jake Goldowski on that one unit has helped it immensely, just retrieving pucks and his presence in front of the net. And but Coach Hill does a great job, and obviously he wasn't happy with some of the production that we've had as of late, and he made some changes there, some personnel changes, and they've done a great job. We needed that power play to win those 2 games, and certainly on Friday it sparked us. Really got that ice tilted one way, and the more they came out and were undisciplined, the more we kind of stuck that dagger in there on the power play. So. But it's just one thing that Mike and his crew work on a lot, and they take a lot of pride in that. And then being over 50% on the weekend, obviously that's huge. Yeah,
definitely. Well, we've talked about it before. The kill too. Special teams can without a doubt spark a bench and get a team going. So it was great to see that coming up from this weekend. All right, I've got, before we get into what's coming up this weekend, I've got one question that again, rattling around in my brain on the bus and stuff, but historically speaking, people don't like teams that win, whether it be the 80s and 90s and the Dallas Cowboys, or Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots, Jeff Gordon in NASCAR, whatever. When they're having success, it tends to attract attention, and people will kind of develop a hatred or whatever. Hypothetically speaking, if that were happening to your team, would it bother you or your team at all?
Now, is that you're saying if we were on top and teams were disgusted at that?
Okay, so that's a pretty obvious answer. That if you're winning that much and stuff, that it's attracting negative attention from fan bases other than your own, obviously, or from other teams and so on.
It's that's just sports.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
Everybody likes a loser. Everybody likes a guy you can go up on the beach and kick sand in his face. The scrawny guy that's not going to fight back. But from our side, we're a winning culture franchise, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And we bring athletes in here that have that same thing in mind. And I don't believe that. The word hate's a big word, but I don't think you should hate a team for being successful. You should prepare, you should work, and you should try to knock them off. And that makes for a really good, in our case, really good hockey game, and we're all for a good hockey game. We're just a team that likes to win, but I think what you're saying or leading to is kind of how we've been treated in the last couple of weeks. But again, that's just not a way to respond. You should respond with some respect and give us a hockey game. And if you beat us, hey, that's great.
More power to you.
We're just going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to work harder and try to beat you again. So, but yeah, there's definitely some dislike for the teams on top, and I'm sure. Back in the day when we were a team fighting for a playoff berth, teams loved us. They were enjoying that. Now they don't.
Yeah.
But I think a little more professionalism will go a long way.
Very well put. I know it's easy to have empathy for a team that's struggling or losing or whatever on any level, no matter what it is. Like I said, if it's a NASCAR driver or whomever. All right, well, you've got Austin coming up now, 9-16, 2-2. They come into the Odie. Do you approach these games any differently, or especially after having had a firsthand look at what they bring to the table and so on? Normal week of preparation?
Yeah, we'll work on ourselves, but there's also some things there that we can get better at. In preparing for Austin, they do some things pretty well, and we need to make sure we're ready to play against that. And I'm sure they're going to do the same thing against us. But there's areas of our game that really have to get better this week, and we're excited to get back at getting better.
Constantly improving. All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show as usual, and best of luck against the Bruins.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll continue on with the second portion of Wings Weekly with a player coming up after this.
How you move matters. Avera Orthopedics helps you move freely and live life to the fullest with innovative treatment options customized to your bone, muscle, and joint needs. Whether you suffer from aches, breaks, tears, or dislocations, turn to the orthopedic team experienced in treating every body.
As we continue on with Wings Weekly, as promised, a player is joining me, like usual, in the second portion, and this time it's the number 20 of Jake Goldowski of Thornhurst, Pennsylvania. How are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm not doing too bad. Well, I've got a handful of questions for you about your hockey career, about the weekend, about, and some goofy questions that we'll get to at the end. But you most recently played with the Dubuque Fighting Saints and the Saginaw Spirit. So probably not a huge shock coming to Aberdeen, South Dakota, even though we're probably a little more remote than some of those places.
A little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah? What were your first impressions when you came to town?
It was more flat. I'm not used to flat lands. I live in the mountains. I'm from the Poconos and all that. But ever since I first walked in, I came in for a first game against Bismarck and a bunch of fans, and I was really shocked. It was more like, wow, there's a lot of people here who like hockey. So it was a good walk-in and a good to feel like a little bit of home here. Excellent.
Well, glad to hear it, because I know it can be a little bit of culture shock from people that come from either the coasts or whatever more populated areas, and it is certainly flat. We always joke that you can watch your dog run away for days. Coming to Aberdeen, like you mentioned, the community as a whole, and obviously seeing the crowd and so on. What about the locker room? What was it like? Did Niels try to hug you?
No, everyone was more like, how would you say that, more serious.
Yeah.
And when they first met me and all that, and then the next day everyone was more themselves and giving me like hugs and all that, introducing themselves. So it was a good, easy transition to get into this team, very close team.
Yeah, Niels, we joke about how he likes to hug the new guys. Well, and you're one of the more recent additions to the Wings. And that's why I kind of wanted to ask that, because the fact is that this is a close team, but they've been together since August or September. So it's a little bit different, a little more difficult, I should say, to kind of feel like you're part of things. But I think Coach Langer and Coach Hill, it's on the walls, it's on the shirts. Family is a big part of this. They want the team to really connect and feel like they are a band of brothers, so to speak. So it's great to hear you say that. Yeah. How about the start of your career? Do you have family that played, or how did you get started and when?
Well, for hockey, I started when I was 3. My sister used to figure skate when she was a kid, and she'd always be at the rink, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I would be the kid who would run back and forth and say, no, I'm not getting on the ice. So I would start crying. 6 months later, my mom's like, you're getting on the ice. So I suck it up, got on the ice, and never looked back. And very good coach, family friend to this day, Don Tweedy, very nice guy, and taught me everything I know now. So it's been good.
Good. 3 years old. Wow, that's early.
Yeah.
You mentioned a coach. How about any other influences that kind of helped you?
I got a bunch. I mean, a guy named Rick Willis, Alice Vasco, a bunch of just coaches all over, and then I've worked my way around, traveled just to try to get better every day and pursue my dream, and they've supported me all the way. So
excellent. Glad to hear it. That work ethic is will write it home here in the Wings locker room. Speaking of which, a big weekend for you. 2 goals on Friday night. I kind of laughed. I saw you kind of take that monkey off your back as you went by the locker room, or not the locker room, by the bench. But that had to feel pretty good to get the team going, kind of get those in goal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a couple months too long, I believe, for me at least. But it was definitely a nice feeling to finally get off the back. More relieving than anything.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that coaches will talk about too. Is that sometimes when guys they hold the stick a little tighter, or whatever, and everything kind of you just kind of take your exhale a deep breath
once it goes in.
Once you're getting going, and then they all come a little easier. It seems like.
Yeah.
How about? And I talked to Coach about what the difference was on Friday night when you're down 2-0. He said that it had a lot to do with the locker room and the leadership in the locker room. What goes on? What is it that the leadership or the guys are saying to each other? Do you guys is it pretty quiet at first, or do you guys get pretty worked up in between periods, especially when you're trailing like that?
It's more, as like you say, we're talking about family. It's more of a band of brothers. We all lean on each other, and we have a lot of older guys, so everyone likes to speak up, and usually everyone listens, and everyone wants to be a part of something that's special. Like we're 29-1-1, and it's pretty special, and we know we can break records and everything. So we want to have that momentum going into those periods and lean on each other. And when someone does something well or something wrong, you pick them up or you tell them great job, and it's just that we're that close of a team.
Excellent. Well, and finding ways to stay motivated and stay hungry and stuff too. That's fantastic. All right, I got a couple of kind of weird questions for you here. Just fun questions before we get back into some hockey stuff. If you had to choose, or could choose in this case, would you rather never have to work again at anything ever, or never need to sleep again, but you would never be tired?
I'd have to sleep. So I'm a big sleeper. I nap. Usually on game days, I nap 4 hours. I'm that type of guy. So I'd have to say not work again because I need to sleep. So.
But what if you didn't need to sleep? What if you always felt fresh and never got tired? You still want to sleep?
I still want to sleep. Sleeping it gets me down, it gets me calm, and I can go. It's easy. It's easy to go to bed at night.
All right. You must be able to sleep pretty well on the bus too, then.
Oh, a little bit. I slept 4 hours on the way home, so it was pretty good.
I'm always jealous of people that can sleep in vehicles. Let's see. How about would you rather have everyone laugh at your jokes but not find anyone else's jokes funny, or have no one laugh at your jokes but you find everyone else's jokes hysterical?
I'm going to be the selfish guy. Everyone wants to laugh at my jokes. Are you kidding me? I mean, it would be fun. Everyone says a joke, no one laughs. I say one word, and everyone starts laughing. So it's definitely better that way.
Okay, good to know. See, I like to laugh, so I think I'd be hard to not find anything funny except for what you say. Let's see. Final rather question here. Are you a coffee guy? Do you drink coffee?
No, I do not like coffee.
What's your go-to beverage?
I'm more of a water guy, but I mean, I can definitely. I'm a soda. It's not called pop. It's called soda. So I would say a soda.
It's pop in the Midwest. When you leave it in your car.
Coast guy. I'm an East Coast guy, so it's soda.
Okay. All right. So here you go. Would you rather have free Wi-Fi wherever you went, or free soda at any place that you went?
Free Wi-Fi. I could say I'm a little bit of a gamer, a little bit. So definitely free Wi-Fi.
Okay. Good to know. Let's see. Any hobbies or anything that you have? Well, other than obviously you just mentioned that you're a gamer, but anything else that you like to do when you're away from the rink or away from the locker room and weight room and stuff?
It's just more like hanging out, having social interactions with people. Like, I don't know. Like when I'm home, I always hang out with family. Go see my grandfather. Go see people that I know. Like it's more getting out and making those connections more than just being home or I don't know, just being on your phone and stuff. It's more having those interactions.
Sure. So not a golfer or anything like that, really?
I'm terrible at golf. I like it. I like to play. I like watching. I'm just bad.
That's kind of me too. Let's see. Austin at home this weekend. I talked to Coach about it, and I don't expect a whole lot of difference as far as what the answer will be. But what do you guys as a team have to do to come away with another weekend, a successful weekend here at the ODI Center against the Bruins?
I think it's just more stick with our game. Kind of make more plays off the rush. Let's drive the net more with the puck, get bodies to the net. A little bit more defensively too, more stopping in the house and stuff like that. So just a little bit more adjustments, little tweaks, but get back to it and hopefully, well, I mean, we're not going to get intimidated, but hopefully relax and go head-to-head with them.
Excellent. Well, it seems like for weeks now when I asked that question, it's do more of the same, do what we're doing. And that's pretty much it. Like I would say, don't fix what isn't broke, right?
Exactly. Don't fix what isn't broke.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, we've got the Austin Bruins coming to the ODI Center this weekend. Friday, March 5th versus the Austin Bruins. Corporate sponsor night, Seed Solutions, and it's college night. $2 off admission with a valid college ID at the door. Saturday, March 6th versus the Bruins once again. The corporate sponsor is Twin City Fan, and always a fun one, I Hate Winter Night at the ODI Center. So dress in your Hawaiian clothes or your leis or your whatever hats and sundresses, or not sundresses, sun hats. That's what I was thinking of anyway. Post-game party at Buffalo Wings and Rings on Saturday, March 6th. Again, a quick congratulations to the Aberdeen Cougars PWC team. First place at state. Bantam B team took third place at state. The Bantam A's defend their title from last year with winning the championship. And then again, good luck to the boys JV and girls varsity teams this weekend at state, this coming weekend. Doors open at 5:30 and the puck drops at 7:15. Get your tickets now at tickets.aberdeenwings.com. $10 general admission tickets are also on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Corporate night sponsorships are still available for home games throughout the 2020-2021 season and playoffs. Call Aaron 605-380-5852 for more information. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Once again, folks, Jake Goldowski, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. Good luck against the Bruins. Folks, that'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.